Final thoughts. The world could get better, the world could get worse. The shadows, they could change shapes and they could get so psychedelic a person pauses from their mushroom love affair with consciousness. Or flat out, a person could finally get so exhausted from some substance like crack cocaine or methamphetamine, and their lungs so black from the tobacco they smoke, and the cloud of carcinogenic smell they exhale, the liquor, almost as long of a description as psychological cognition. Brain, body, mind, whole body, and whole brain. World, emotion, prefrontal cortex, amygdala, cerebral cortex, pons, heart, stomach, I think the easiest example to understand with what I'm trying to explain in these last few thoughts has to do with the 10 years I've spent trying to help people around me with addiction, with emotion, and problems with happiness, and problems with confusion and anger and people who have difficulty with consciousness because their brain has been nearly silenced from their decision making to keep on doing with their body and what the people around them and everybody says is normal. Drugs, fine. Booze, yeah, they're already good. Internet dating, heck yeah. Did you see that profile? Raves, oh, you don't have to go anywhere anymore. You just and dying and suffering. Words, far-fetched old memories. Now, there are these kinds of duality. And the example has to do with spending 10 years on psychological cognition and playtime and beginning with Jung and Freud and beginning with, undergraduate studies with film and psychoanalyzing and feminism and meeting people like John and other young people who don't have the same body, brain, and mind from drugs, alcohol, not having a family, all kinds of different reasons. And finally, being able to describe a process with a system called psychological cognition, giving someone the power, giving a person the ability, giving the disability giving the cancer, giving whatever a long goodbye. A person who spends 10 years learning about not only the body, brain, mind, and social awareness and politics and every other part of the world, then has a choice. And if their choice has nothing to do with the substance they say should be allowed everywhere, then they should try to figure out why they'll allow people to need services and why they will give more freedom to restrict, limit, and deny certain people like me the freedom to research, the freedom to engineer, the freedom to speak, the freedom to sing, the freedom to live on freaking planet Earth. Gosh darn heck, you know? And there's not much else happening. There are a lot of people who say more drugs, more drugs, more drugs, more drugs, and less gangs and less dealers and less cartels and less violence. But aren't acknowledging the dysfunction, the discrepancy. Giving someone the okay to smoke some meth, smoke some crack, go down to the next shop, get some heroin, get some fentanyl that they've made not too dangerous, and then have a nice relaxing stony buzz from some weed, some marijuana, and have a nice puff of tobacco the next morning. With services, social benefits for these people to get. They don't gotta worry. Well, if you're a drug addict, no big deal. We'll hook you up. We'll get you some cash. We'll get you some social housing. We'll even let you camp outside. These people in power are saying, you know, and these activists and these groups and these, you know, warriors, social elite. And there is nobody who says flat out, like, good gosh, you want to actually watch consciously what you're giving someone the option to do. And saying, well, it's fine, free college, healthcare for everybody, just go get fixed up. But y'all, we ain't a car, we ain't some engineered carbon capture device to store the dead energy. And there's not going to be any sort of smooth, calm, relaxing earth ever with these kinds of conditions. To make more benefit for everybody. And let everybody be free to suffer, to stand in lines for paperwork and look in the refrigerators at nothing. But give a person the knowledge, the care, and their human dignity, And there are no conscious benefits, there are no physical dimensions to go visit with drugs, with alcohol, with tobacco, with partying, with loud thumping and behavior and gestures and socially being conscious. Anybody who spends 10 years in neuroscience books, in philosophy books, in psychology books, in psychiatry books, in rooms with young people like Noah and John, and then not just had memories, but had future interactions and seeing their faces and seeing their suffering. There's no worse way to cry and be sad. There's no more to say about life other than total anarchy. In the civilization building people in charge, and the people that are saying to the people in charge, and the people that are wearing the hats and marching needs to get fixed to make stuff better. But having a civilization where you give and allow and also take consciousness, choice, behavior, decisions, all of the above, distribute them like dollar bills to poor people and food stamps to poverty-seeking, starving, desperate folks. Then everybody, including the animals, including the trees, should start to consider some of the discussion with simulation and start to recognize benefits to the other parts to the world. Like, well, what if you don't want to do drugs? What if you don't want to do this and that and every other way, and you just want to be gone and dead? And don't have the anger, don't have the emotional rage to hurt anyone, to make a mess, but just say, I've got all I need. I'm fine being an energy source for the earth and fertilizing the ground beneath my feet, and I'm ready for a place where I can be free. And my freedom won't be a problem.